Good afternoon, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure and a privilege to be here at the fourth, I believe, is that right, Babaji? Fourth India Ideas Conclave. It is something that we were working on for quite a while to be able to put together. And when we were thinking of doing an India Ideas Conclave, we all agreed that the best place for it would be Goa. And since I'm just coming from foggy Delhi and I've landed in very pleasant Goa and I've driven to the hotel, I must say that was one of the best decisions we have made. So it's very, very good to see how this conclave has taken shape. It has matured. It has become extremely popular. We have, wonderful, wonderful people who come here, present their ideas and their thoughts. And of course, the setting, the location, the geography, the very special geography of Goa makes it all the more fun and all the more exciting to be able to do this here. I also want to compliment the organizers this year for picking a wonderful, wonderful topic: leadership in the 21st century. It's an open-ended topic. You can interpret it and talk about it in many different ways. There are many dimensions of leadership. There are many ways of expressing the 21st century. So when I thought about what I could speak on this topic, I recognized that it gave me a very broad canvas to speak on. But rather than making it very, very expansive in how I address the topic, I thought I would narrow it down. And what I want to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, is how does India achieve economic leadership in the 21st century. So I'm trying to narrow it down to India. Leadership could be for anybody from any organization, but I'm talking about India, the country, and I'm talking about how we can thrive and prosper and flourish and lead as an economy. How can India achieve economic leadership in the 21st century? How do we build a new India, which is what we are embarked on, as the Honorable Prime Minister has said. We embarked on this quest to build this new India. How do we build this new India so that it achieves economic leadership? And ladies and gentlemen, I have a strong view on that. I have a strong belief on how we are going to do it. I fervently believe that if we are going to achieve leadership in the 21st century, if we are going to build the new India of our dreams, we have to build it through innovative, entrepreneurial, large-scale companies. We have to create our own Googles and Facebooks and Alibabas and Tencents. And I was just at the TiECon conference yesterday, and I asked the entrepreneurs there to dream big. We talk about unicorns. A unicorn, ladies and gentlemen, is a company with a market capitalization of $1 billion. But I said we should not be satisfied with talking about unicorns with a market capitalization of $1 billion. We should talk about super unicorns, which have a market capitalization of $10 billion. But we should not even be satisfied with the idea of super unicorns. We should really ask ourselves how we can build mega unicorns, unicorns that have a market capitalization of $100 billion. Because if we build companies of that scale, scope, and size, friends, that's how we will achieve economic leadership. That's how we will create economic opportunities for all of our people, because we've got to build these platform companies, these very large-scale companies that can power entire sectors forward, that can create millions and millions of jobs and really drive our GDP from $2.25 trillion to $5 trillion. And unless we build companies of that scale and scope, we are never going to achieve that leadership. We are never going to grow as quickly as we need to. Now, when I start talking about $100 billion market cap companies, I'm sure all of you will be very skeptical. You should be. Of course you should be skeptical. It's hard enough to get to $1 billion. Harder still to get to $10 billion. But is it even reasonable to talk about $100 billion market cap companies? Our economy is doing it. Can India do it? I think that's a very good set of questions. The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is yes, absolutely. And I want to point towards the success of the Indian IT services and BPO industry. Today, if you look at the total market capitalization of the IT services BPO company, it is $250 billion. And we have one company, TCS, that has a market cap of $70 to $75 billion. And I want to remind you all, ladies and gentlemen, that in 1998, just a short 20 years ago, these companies collectively probably had a market capitalization of $100 million, few $100 million. So in 20 years, in India alone, we have built a sector that today has total revenues, total economic activity that they create of about $125 billion, employs over 4 million people, and has created market capitalization of $250 billion, of which TCS alone is about $70 to $75 billion. We have done it. We have built such a sector, and those of us that have watched the economy evolve from a $500 billion economy about 20 years ago to a $2.25 trillion economy know how important the IT services, BPO industry has been for the growth and development of India. And now going forward, we don't need just one such sector, we need 5, 10 such sectors. We need large-scale companies like TCS to get created, many of those to get created, so we can make our economy genuinely a leader of the 21st century. That's what we need to do. That is my hypothesis. That is my fervent belief. So if we have done it before in India, and certainly I can tell you that, of course, in the US right now, we have what's called the FANG, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, that are all worth $400, $500 billion in market cap. If we are seeing it happen in the US, if we are seeing it happen in China with Alibaba and Tencent, and we've seen it happen before in India with IT services, it's entirely doable. It's entirely feasible. So we can do it. Now, how do we do it in a way that really focuses on India? Remember, the IT services BPO industry, while very successful, is an export industry. We are developing software and services for clients in the US, Japan, Europe, and so on. How do we do it so that it develops India as well? And the way to do it, the way our entrepreneurs and innovators are in fact starting to do it today, ladies and gentlemen, is to solve India's problems. We have to solve India's problems. And when we solve India's problems, we will solve the world's problems as well. And so I ask, and I always say to our entrepreneurs and innovators, don't solve the problems. Don't solve the problems of Pike Place in Seattle. Don't solve the problems of Union Square in San Francisco. Don't solve the problems of Times Square in New York, of Piccadilly Circus in London, Potsdamer Platz in Berlin. Don't solve those problems. Solve the problems of my very own Jhanda Chowk in Hazaribagh. You have to solve Jhanda Chowk's problems, not Union Square, San Francisco's problems. We have to solve India's problems. We have to develop products and services for our people. Because if we develop it for our people, those same products and services can be used in Indonesia, in Vietnam, in Egypt, in Bolivia, in Nigeria, in Gabon. All of these other places can use our products and services, and it's already happening right now. And so, if we want to seize leadership in the 21st century, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to seize leadership in the 21st century, India has to become the entrepreneurial engine of the next 6 billion people on the planet. The US today is the entrepreneurial engine, the innovation hub of the top 1 billion people on this planet. That is what Silicon Valley sits in the center of, an incredible entrepreneurial ecosystem that is the engine for the top 1 billion people on the planet, the most affluent people on the planet. But we in India have the opportunity to become the entrepreneurial engine for the next 6 billion people on the planet, and we have to solve for India's design point. The design point of Jhanda Chowk, Hazaribagh. And what is that design point? I often say that the India design point is 80% of the functionality of Union Square in San Francisco, 80% of the functionality at 20% of the price. 80% of the functionality at 20% of the price. And we are getting there. We are doing it. India has the cheapest telecom services on the planet. India has the cheapest and best motorcycles on the planet. India has the cheapest and best financial services on the planet. And yes, we also have the most affordable ice cream and various other consumer packaged goods on the planet. We are already doing it. I want to tell you the story of telecom services. It's incredible what has happened. There is a revolution happening in front of our eyes. I see everybody on their smartphones right now. Some of you are on Wi-Fi, but many of you may be on the mobile data network like I was just a few minutes ago. Today, when I walk into this hotel, I don't even bother to get on the Wi-Fi network any longer. Why is that? Because of a revolution called mobile data. In the last 18 months, friends, we have gone from the price of data being 1,000 rupees per gigabyte. 1,000 rupees per gigabyte, and we were all searching for Wi-Fi networks in the hotel. What's the password? Give it to me, please. Where is the sign? That's what we did. Now we don't bother, because today the price of 1 gigabyte of data is 10 rupees. 10 rupees per gigabyte. Many of us have all-you-can-eat plans, which is what I have. I don't even bother about Wi-Fi networks anymore. So that is what we have done in mobile data. India today consumes more mobile data than any other country in the world, even though the number of mobile phones that we have, smartphones that we have today, is far less than that of China. We are already consuming more mobile data than China, and Jio is the world's largest mobile data network right now. That is the India design point. 80% of the functionality, in this case not even 20%, probably 5% of the price anywhere else. And it's happening in sector after sector after sector. And it is building great companies, large companies, companies that are going to be global champions, and that's how we become a leader in the 21st century. I want to close my talk by telling you about 3 sectors. 3 sectors where I think we can build super unicorns and mega unicorns. One of them is in financial technology. All of you are familiar with the India stack. Jay just spoke about JAM and what is possible today with Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile. But the India stack is a fabulous set of technology protocols that have been put together by the team that worked on Aadhaar, which enables us to develop financial technology and services that are unimaginable anywhere else in the world because of the kind of protocols and the kinds of technical standards that we have established already. The government just yesterday waived all transaction charges on UPI and Bheem and other transactions less than 2,000 rupees. Right, Rajiv? Isn't that 2,000 rupees? Imagine, it'll be free to do digital transactions. Free to do digital transactions on the India stack. Can you imagine the kinds of companies that we can build on that technology layer? And by the way, with companies like Paytm and so on, it's already beginning to happen. A company like Paytm or others that are MobiKwik and so on, that are in financial technology, could be super unicorns, mega unicorns. They could revolutionize the way in which we do credit. There's a whole platform that is called flow-based credit as opposed to asset-based lending. So flow-based credit, these are the kinds of innovations that are possible that will enable us to build really large companies in financial technology. And we'll be solving India's problems. Second sector that I think is going to be very exciting is electric vehicles, particularly two-wheelers. India is already the world's largest manufacturer of two-wheelers, and I think we will build large platform companies for electric two-wheelers and four-wheelers at a price point nobody else in the world can match. And finally, the third area where I think we can build very large platform companies, companies that can be very large and scale up and operate around the world, is in drones. What is possible today with drone technology is astonishing. Astonishing. I have coined this term where I say, let's go out and build an air rickshaw. Let's go out and build an air rickshaw. And from an engineering point of view, I think it's possible for us to be able to hit the 4 or 5 rupees per kilometer with an air rickshaw that today it costs you on an auto rickshaw. So we can have air rickshaws that will compete with auto rickshaws in the next 10 or 15 or 20 years. And if we can solve that, friends, and I'll close with this, if we can solve that, we will absolutely solve India's traffic problems, India's problems with traffic jams, where instead of coming up with expensive metros and so on, we will just go vertical with air rickshaws. And that's the kind of innovation we need. Those are the kinds of companies we need to build. If we do that, we'll solve India's problems and the world's problems and achieve leadership in the 21st century. Thank you very, very much.